In today's podcast,
is there a specific time for Amrit Vela? Why do we do Amrit Vela? Why do we have to do at that time? And what is the importance of it in Sikhi? Some of the questions which come quite regular in whenever we do talks is Amrit Vela. What is the importance of Amrit Vela? There's a lot out there now sort of opposing the concept of Amrit Vela. First thing first, I think it'd be good to just unravel what was the concept of Amrit Vela. What does the term mean? What is the actual concept? And why is it important? Pastor, would you like to just explain a bit on the concept? What is Amrit Vela?
So I mean, when we read Gurbani, even if a person does Amrit or whatever, usually the Panj Pyare, what they say to the Sikh is that the shabd they use first is that Gur Sadgur ka jo Sikh khaye, so palke uthar naam te aave. Udam kare palke prabhati, ishnan kare Amritsar naave. So to understand that, that's the first thing. If a Sikh wants to claim to be a Sikh, Guru Ramdas ji is saying that uthde palke. And Prabhate, when we read Shabds, when Guruji says Ran Dinas Prabhat, Tu hai hi Gavana. So Guruji is called something night, he's so called something day, and he's called something in the middle, Prabhat. And that's understood term, I think, from a long time back. But there's Shabds in Gurbani that is Pipinni Ran Janamana Chao, Pichar Raat na Jagyo, Jeevan Dado Moyo. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਿਛੜ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਗਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਿਛੜ ਰਾਤ meaning just the end phase of night. And there's other shabds about ਚੌਥੇ ਪੈਰ ਸਭਾ ਕੇ ਸੁਰਤਿਆਂ ਪੁੱਜਿਆ ਚਾਓ, that in the fourth stage of the night ਭਈ ਇਹ ਭਗਤ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ. So there are other shabds as well where Guruji says ਜੇ ਵੇਲਾ ਵਕਤ ਵਿਚਾਰੀਏ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੇਲਾ ਭਗਤ ਹੋਏ, and usually those kind of shabds are used to kind of counter that, saying that this is there you go. Guruji saying if you're talking about Vela, which Vela is it then? It should be all Vela. And that's what Gurbani is telling us to get to, is that we get to every Vela. If we can do 24 hours, then really Bhagdi is about remembering God day and night. And all another, that's bakshish, you know? There's a lot of bakshish you need for that. That's not, it doesn't just that we can just wake up today and say, now we're remembering God 24 hours a day. So the stages of that is to initially wake up Ratanu. And when we read various things like even outside of Gurbani, when we say Bhai Gurdas ji, Pichal Rati Jagana Naam Danish Nan Didaye, and then we have Ratname that say similar things. When it says Gursikh Rat Suno Re Meet Parbate Utkar Hit Cheet, Waheguru Pon Mantra So Jap Kare Shanan Pade Jap Jap So there's a concept inside the Sikh Ityas, Sikh Rani, Sikh Bani, and obviously by Gurdashi, that you wake up and if you look at it from a practical perspective, if you were ever doing exams, when you're doing exams, have you ever woken up early to do revise?
Yes.
What's the difference between revising early and revising in the evening? Let's say some people are morning people, some people are evening people. We can accept that too, right? But generally, what's the difference if you wake up in the morning versus waking up in the evening? Waking up late and doing it.
Okay, let's say you study at night, right? You're already tired from the entire day, so you don't have much concentration, and you probably ate like 3 or 4 rotiyan, so you're probably also getting sleepy.
Yeah.
And I think in the morning you're just fresh. You know, you're everything from the past day you've forgotten. Like if you study at night, everything that happened during the day is also in your mind still. So it becomes kind of hard to concentrate. I think if you wake up in the morning and study, then it's much easier because your head is still empty.
So there's this freshness, but what I found, I mean, I can only talk from personal experience, is that at that time information goes in very quick. You wake up early, information that if you start concentrating and onto something specific, it goes in really fast. And it's just something about, we could say the villa, we could say it's the person, you could say it's because they're up early, maybe they're not tired, but there's something that happens there that makes it very quick for you to say. If you're trying to remember something for an exam, it really goes in really quick about early. Whereas, and there's certain shabds that talk about this kind of babe. Sabahi Salah Jinitya Ekman Say Puresha Wakte Upar Ladmu. If you read shabds like that, there are various things that are said in that shabd that Duje Botera and the man kiyamati kindiyan, the man starts going all over the place, and duje pair and tije pair bhukh lag jandi chauਥੇ. So there's all sorts of what we know is that when Gurbani talks to us, where true bhakti is when the Naam is prakash inside of us, and so Amrit Vela is just start of that journey. So just like doing Amrit is just a start of a journey. Waking up Amrit Vela is a kind of a command for us for Gursikh, but moving on bhakti is to move it further. So that in a very very brief summary there, the waking up at that time is a very, it's a cha for a Gursikh. It's not necessarily a, you can look at it as some sort of a saja or something that Guru's given us. It's not that. It's a cha, meaning you're really happy to do it. Something comes inside you to want to do. One of the things we didn't discuss there was, your brain, your body works in these 90-minute cycles when you go sleep. So when you're sleeping, a full cycle, that's like rapid eye movement, goes in deep sleep, all this kind of thing. It's actually going in and out of that in 90 minutes at a time. So when you try to wake up outside of the 90 minutes, so for instance, if I wake up after 3 hours, that's okay, because 90 plus 90 is the 3 hours, right? Does that make sense? The 90 is 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. So if I wake up after 3 hours or 4.5 hours or 6 hours, the brain has gone in and out of the cycle, so you wake up quite fresh. Whereas if you wake up in between a 90-minute, so let's say you try to wake up after 2 hours or wake up after 4 hours, you're actually waking up inside of a cycle. So that your sleep cycles are 90 minutes each. And so when we sleep at night, if you sleep, say, 6 hours, you actually had 4 sleep cycles of 1.5 hours each. So from that perspective, if you set your clock in a weird way, you're going to wake up at, let's say, 4 hours later, your eyes are going to be red and they're going to be really heavy, and you're going to be saying, oh my gosh, it's too tiring, let me just lie down for 5 minutes, and then you fall asleep again, and you might wake up 2 hours later or something. But if you understand your cycle, the way your body works, you'll realize, and they say it's plus or minus maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So someone's might be not be dead on 1.5 hours, but you'll understand. You start understanding your body a bit more, that if you want to wake up after 4.5 hours and then want to go sleep later, after that, you can, that you can make your body start working like that.
So there's few things I think Pasab has mentioned quite a lot in there. First thing, just to sort of give you a bit more, the shabad that Pasab said, Pichar Raat Na Jago Jeevan Dade Moyo. There's quite a few things about Amrit Vela. First thing, A is Hukam from Panj Pyare, what Pasab was saying. And other thing, like in Japji Sahib, where Guru Sahib is saying, Moh ke bolan boliye, jisun tare pyar, Amrit Vela, Sach now, Vadiyai Vichar. So in that, Guru Sahib is saying that what sort of words shall I say? What sweet words can I speak? Where Guru mein pyara lagan lag jama. And Guru Sahib is saying then Amrit Vela is the answer for that. So in that, Chalo is quite you can say, oh, there's a different meaning for that, etc. But in many places, especially that particular shabad where Guru Sahib is saying, Fariji is saying, Pichar Raat Na Jago Jeevan Dade Moyo, by Fariji is saying that if you don't wake up the night before, which is Amrit Vela, then it's like you're living like a dead person. You are dead already. There's no point in living that life. So he's taking to that extent. That's quite a serious statement, that is. So
and there's another phrase where pehle pehre fulada phal bhi pacharat jo jagan lahan se sai kanno daat bhai ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਰਾਤ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚੌਥਾ ਪੈਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਦਾਤ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਹਨਾ blessing when we say nadar, so it's in nadar we want Vaiguru's blessing. ਉੱਥੇ blessing ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ if it's done with with ikmanik chit hana.
And the Rahatnama Shabad in Gurbani, which we can say is Sikh da Rahatnama in a way. In one Shabad, Guru Sahib is saying that Gursat Gur Ka Jo Sikh Khai. In that Shabad, it's like a Rahatnama for Sikh, in Guru Granth Sahib, that one. Guru Sahib is saying, Gursat Gur Ka Jo Sikh Khai, so palke uth har naam te ave. So, jo Guru da Sikh akhonda apne aap nu, Guru Sahib is saying. Now we all say that asi Sikh hai. We quite loosely use that term, we are Sikh. But Guru Sahib then is giving the definition. If you call yourself a Sikh, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋ ਅਖਾਏ ਮੀਨ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਾਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੋ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਉੱਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿੰਘ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਮੀਨਸ early ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲੇ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦਾ ਆ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੈ and then this ਉਦਮ ਕਰੇ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਤੀ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ ਕਰੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਨਾਮ then ਫਿਰ ਚੜੇ ਦਿਵਸ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਵੈ then does ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ he does ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ then Guru Sahib is listing all of those things there ਹਨਾ we quite easily say that we are sick ਹਨਾ but Guru Sahib is starting with Amrit Vela that's a bare minimum a Sikh should do
and that's why Guruji is showing you that is a Vela there because fir chade divis gurbani de gave that's saying you to you that when din chadda that's another Vela hana the Guru Sahib telling you that it's before that din chadda ya because when the din as the sun rises then we start singing Gurbani that's what Guru is telling us but before that naam japna sikhna
so this is one thing there's quite a few different reasons why Amrit Vela is important a is hukam a is a time for bhakti is and logically is the best time for bhakti because it's early everyone sleep it's very peaceful time and even if you look at the modern day CEOs or the most successful people they all get up very early in the morning you will see the Amrit Vela concept coming up now in a lot of these I think Steve Jobs used to wake up early Bill Gates wakes up like 4 o'clock 5 o'clock the current CEO of Apple wakes up 4 o'clock just saying logically people are seeing the benefits of waking up early but Guru Sahib has instilled that in the rahat of a Sikh but that's one thing but other thing that I look at Pasab if you can answer this like Guru Sahib a lot of times also says that let's put it this way the Amrit how do you get Amrit Vela this question comes up a lot of times how do you get Amrit Vela what can you do to get Amrit Vela that's one thing but Guru Sahib is also saying that getting up Amrit Vela is a sadara is an invitation like picho rati sadara naam khasam ka lehe ke me shatra saraj che disan rath pide in that shows Guru Sahib is saying that get Amrit Vela you cannot get up yourself it's like a sadara tanu sadda milya like you got invitation only then you woke up so what do you think about this is there sadra or can we do some uddam as well to wake up Amrit Vela
so the start of it is an ardas it's not a Gursikh I mean some people are good at waking early they kind of get their body clocks and all this kind of things are different things what you find is that when Guruji wants to wake you up it don't matter about body clock it don't matter where you are where is it in the cycle outside the cycle so but the practical things that you can do if you want to wake up Amrit Vela first thing is that it's not to sambal the waking up is to look after the time you're going to sleep so a lot of people before when they're coming into Sikhi ਜਦੋਂ ਪੁੱਛੀਦਾ ਜਾਂ what time is ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ 10 ਵਜੇ 11 ਵਜੇ ਸੌਂਦੇ ਆ 11:30 late that's really late that is and a person can't expect to at the beginning when they're into Sikhi to wake up after 2-3 hours a person can do that and when they when they've got into this and done it for a few years sometimes if you get a nap in the day a small one just a few minutes and then you can wake up after just a few hours but that's not something that you do quickly and you just get them straight away so what you got to first do you have to be it's just like army isn't it we're in an army it's Fauja Khalsa Fauja and in if you look at normal army regular army they're very regimented so first you have to start off with a bit of regimented lifestyle so that means that it could be that if you person who eats late they sleep heavily so that might be not a good idea to change the way you eat so person obviously you go sleep late they have to change that but there's other things too that stop you waking up Amrit Vela there's things like how you speak who you're looking to what you're looking at so if someone sees something lustful or you get angry those things affect your rhythms and they affect how you're sleeping at night as well and obviously there's some sensible things to do is to make sure that you have a routine when you're sleeping so when we have soila when we're going to sleep and we read soila and then a person gets changed they might wash up they read soila that those routines are really important because your brain knows that now I'm settling down I'm going to sleep now and having a consistent routine like that helps the mind relax a lot especially if people who have like sometimes they sleep one night really well or a few weeks even and they have a really bad night sleeping for them if they can get into a good routine, and that's obviously an important thing. And then these are basic things. I think we mentioned these before when people were at the camp, but it's things like when I was studying. Well, I didn't study, but I just read a bit about hypnotherapy and various things that they do. One thing that when people are doing hypnotherapy, they suggest that you be careful what you watch, what you hear, and what you say, and those things are really important as well. So it's not if your mind's in a bit of a happy state in terms of spirituality, it wants to wake up at that time. But what you'll find is if it goes off track a bit, then it loses its rhythm and it doesn't want to wake up then. And so there's obviously practical things that you do. There's spiritual things that you do, but it really is about another. Ek jagan din na lehan. Again, we talk about Fariji, beautiful slok on the Fariji there. But ek jagan din na lehan, ek na sutya de uthal. But some people are awake and Fariji saying, "Unhanu kuch milda nahi hega." They don't get anything from that waking. But other ones are asleep, and he comes and wakes them up himself. Waheguru comes and wakes them up himself. So Sikhi generally is, why are we doing our things? We're not doing them for rituals. We're not ticking boxes. We're doing them so that God's grace, as in another that another comes onto us and he blesses us with something.
So that's a good point. Another especially. I was thinking as well the other day that even like after waking up Amrit for years, you can still be like, if your money is not under control, you're still doing all the puttekam during the day. That Amrit Vela hasn't really affected me then, is it? And so it's how do you know that you got another of Guruji?
Well, it's best not to know, isn't it? Really, if you think you got another, it's home. We start saying, "Well, I got another, you ain't got another." I don't think it's too. It's the better way to look at it is, when you read Barney says some different things about Bhakti. It says, "Jirid if I get one, even or kadi or murat or it could be that month." That whole month is pavitr for me if I can do Bhakti once, Guruji says. Some days he says, in that day, je din o din pavitr hai mere lai, je o din vich mainu Bhakti mil jave. Then he says, oh vela. A vela is like 3 hours. Oh vela bhi mere lai pavitr hai. Then Guru Sahib talks about kadi. Oh kadi mere lai bahut beautiful cheez. Then Guruji talks about, when we say muhurta, or we say like, small seconds and minutes, so they're not counted in those. We don't want to get into the timing system, but it's like just a few. If a second I get something, then I'm really, I'm really grateful for it. So if you've had any time and Guruji gives you it, it's to be thankful for that, isn't it? It's to say I'm thankful for it, and not to think I got another. It's to say thank you for even thinking about me and giving me that. Then automatically everything becomes beautiful then. Inside that thing that wells up, that wants to do more. You can certainly look at another way, say on today another merite nahi nazar hai. You can certainly look at it that perspective. I would say from the other perspective is to be really thankful when you get something, because it is a level of nazar. It is a level of grace from Waheguru.
I think that's a better wording.
So it's consistency as well, isn't it? That's very important. Like there was by Puranji from Amritsar. They used to do Amrit Vela Harmandir Sahib, and they did it for probably decades. There used to be room there in Harmandir Sahib's Parikrama, and all the things used to get together. I think 12 o'clock, half 11, 12, they used to start up until the Prakash time and Ardas, and they used to do Amrit Vela there every day along with Sukhmani Sahib. So one person would recite Sukhmani Sahib and everyone else would do Simran. And I visited that a few times. And Bhai Puranji, I never met Bhai Puranji, but I met the Singh who was there, Chote Darji, after Bhai Puranji. But Bhai Puranji especially, he's done Amrit Vela there for decades. And I think that once what happened is that I think he had two sons, and they were coming back from somewhere, and during that right during the Amrit Vela time, I think they got into an accident and both of them died in the hospital. And a Singh came and said to Bhai Sahib that, look, your both sons have died. Let's go to the hospital. He goes, no, it's my Amrit Vela time. He went to Harmandir Sahib, did his Amrit Vela, and then went to see them. So he didn't leave his Amrit Vela even for that. But what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say here is that there must be something that Gursikhs get out of Amrit Vela. It can't be out of like a forcefully waking themselves up. There must be so much that they get out of Amrit Vela that missing Amrit Vela is not even a conversation. It's not even a choice.
Yeah.
It has to be done, isn't it? So what is it? Pastor, can you elaborate on that? What do Gursikhs get? Like Guru Gobind Singh Ji did Amrit Vela when the Mughals were chasing them, Guru Sahib as well, near Sarsa di Nadi. So
certainly head over to the share YouTube site, because there's a section there called Inspirational Gursikhs. If you go to the homepage on the YouTube site, you'll see that Puranji. There's a documentary that we did with Bhai Ravinder Singh. I think everybody should watch that. There's two parts to it. It's important because there's life lessons to be learnt in that. In terms of what Gursikh feels and gets, it's like sometimes when we used to do Amrit Vela, we used to whatever time it finished at the Gurdwara, but sometimes you just stay another hour or hour and a half. And the difference when you're coming home the hour and a half before versus hour and a half after, it's massive. When you're driving home, I was driving home, it should take me 25 minutes to get home, 20 minutes. But that drive, the atmosphere's changed a lot within 1.5 hours. It's just a feeling that you get. You'll notice it, you'll connect with you understand. It doesn't mean that now God's gone. It just means there is a point where Guruji is making it a little bit easier for you to connect. So when a Gursikh misses that, it's like that day they feel like they're feeling really they're feeling like they've lost something. That thing ain't there. You got to make it. You can't make it as just a routine. It's kind of, you got to feel. It's got to have a bit of a feeling in it. So when a Gursikh feels that, they want it. They want to keep that there. They don't want to lose it. Sometimes when you're going to work, if you've been up from Amrit Vela, you're walking in. You've been up like 6 hours, 7 hours. And then everyone's walking around with their little coffees with their eyes half shut, saying like, "Oh, I've got to try and wake up." Right, you're wide awake. Half your day's gone. Yeah, it's like it's a Bhagatan ki chal nirali. Nirali means the way a saintly person who's Guru da Sikh lives is very different from a worldly person. It's very different. It's like Guru saying Jameen Asman da fark. That means there's difference like the sky and the ground, right? It's the difference between the two. Is a Gursikh will always try to help and do everything for everybody, but in terms of who they are and how they act and how they live, they're very different. So one of those aspects is that, eventually what we're trying to get from Guruji is that we're awake all the time. It's not just a vela that we're talking about, but the vela that's the diamond time for Gursikh.
So with the timing, the exact timing for getting up Amrit Vela, by Gurdas Ji sort of mentions it. Can you explain a bit on the timing? What is the sort of suggested time to wake up Amrit Vela?
Generally, it's a chotha pair. So a pair, it means 3 hours, and there's 8 pair in the 24. So basically, it's the last 3 hours before sunrise. So that's all. It's been relatively, it's summarized as between 2 and 5 in summer, between about 3 and 6 in winter. But Gursikh, so if you read when you see that documentary that we did, they start waking up at 12. They're like a longer one, and they like to stay up longer. So initially, it's make sure you've got the summer and the winter time corrected, and then after that you find that it's like whatever time mind wants to wake up is nice. It doesn't matter about the routine. Then it's whatever time it wakes up is badhiya. So we don't get into bam. But waking up, sometimes mind wakes up at 11:30. You don't get into like that. Oh, it's not Amrit Vela yet, or it's not time. It's too early. It doesn't matter. 11:30, half one. It doesn't matter, but it's not to scare people. Sometimes I don't like talking like too much about that stuff because people start thinking like it's just, oh my gosh, I'm over here. That's way over there. It's not to think of it like that. Think of it like in something that's manageable for you first. But it's the last three hours before sunrise, and sawa pair. That's what Sikhs say. Sawa pair. A sawa pair means 3 hours and 45 minutes. They wake up 45 minutes even before the 3 hours so that they're ready, so that they're all the Ishanan and they're ready for the 3 hours. So that's you might look at that as some Gursikh see that as the first stage, some people as the advanced stage. It doesn't matter how you look at it, but it's to be somewhere around there at that time. Huh?
Some people here might not know what pair is, so we might as well explain what pair is.
Yeah. So the atpair means that there's in the daytime there's 12 hours. So they're split into 3. That's four pair there, and then there's 4 pair of Raat roughly. The 12 hours. That's 3. So in Bani it says a lot about atpair iktel manan hukam par. There's lots of shabds that talk about atpair, and even Faridji, when we go back to Faridji, like Faridji says, Char Gawaya Handke, Char Gawaya Sam. Where he says that 4 of the 8 sections of the day and night, you wasted 4 just doing Kamkar, wasted 4 all the night sleeping and all the day just doing work here and there and just and getting caught up in worldly things. That eventually when we go to next world they can say, what were you sent here to do? You weren't sent here just to do work and sleep. Should have been waking up and doing your Shubha Nawaj and all these kind of things that he talks about.
Like, do you know, like saying Vaheguru at Amrit Vela initially is very different to saying Vaheguru during the day. It's sometimes it's different initially. It's only when you try and wake up and do that, you experience it. That's when you realize that it can sometimes be different, because you get that rasa Amrit Vela. So initially, like sometimes when you get up Amrit Vela, the Simran that you do at Amrit Vela is different to doing Simran during daytime. It just doesn't give you the same ras sometimes, but eventually when that sort of when you get the ras, then after that it becomes consistent ras. Whether you say Vaheguru whenever during the day, you get the exact same ras and the same connection what you might have got at Amrit Vela. Then Amrit Vela, what is Amrit Vela then, isn't it? Like then every minute is Amrit Vela. Even sleep is Amrit Vela then for the Gursikh, isn't it?
It depends on your spiritual state, is what Gurbani's referring to, right?
Yeah.
So where Gurbani's saying, there ain't no Vele, he's saying Guruji saying what for a person who's feeling it all the time and once God has become Prakash inside of them, that things come inside of them. Naam has become Pargad. For them, what villa are you going to talk to them about? You can't, it's on all the time.
Yeah.
But for somebody who isn't on, Guruji does talk to them about waking up at the villa, and that is in Gurbani consistently on many other topics as well. Sometimes it looks like Guruji saying to us, you don't, what's the purpose of doing, Simran with your tongue? You don't need to do it for a person who's at that highest level. But then the Guruji talks a lot about doing it with the tongue as well at the beginning. So Gurbani is that one of those things that you have to read it into context. What's Guruji trying to say? Who is this aimed at? And then you read it like that, because sometimes that's how we can easily trip over Gurbani, where we're reading something about a person who's really achieved something, and then taking that and then negating or on something about somebody who's at an early stage, but because of they haven't applied it to the right spiritual state. If you just grab somebody and say, "Oh, you have to wake up at 12 o'clock. What's your problem?" and you have to do 7 hours, well, that's not rational. It's not reasonable to say that to somebody. Whereas if you watch that video when we talked to Bhai Ravinder Singh about Puranji and other people like that, for them it wasn't even a big deal. They're just like, when they're sitting there, they don't care, they just carry on. It's like if I say to you, you're going to do some bodybuilding, and I say to you, now you're going to spend 4 hours in the gym from day one. Well, you're going to do 1 day of training. You're going to be finished. Anyone who's done training for a day and it's hard, the next day you don't. Your body's all stiff. So, but a person who's been doing that for years, they can do 3 or 4 hours in the gym, and it's a similar thing. We're doing. It's about when you get used to something and you've adapted to it, you start enjoying it more and you can do it for longer. That's just common sense, really.